Aslan is on the move.
Sorry, just a sec. Why are my headphones not working? Sorry.
It's because when one hangs around the circumference of a children's playground, one wants them turned down.
I wouldn't know.
I saw Tom asking people to buy him alcohol. Is Tom under 21?
With the
I'm a
appropriate
child.
with the appropriate
Exactly.
skincare regime, we can all be under 21.
I'm a child prodigy. Can you hear me?
Who's clearly got progeria.
I don't even know what that means, so I must be.
Stuart will tell you
young.
what progeria is. You look beautiful. Don't get it the wrong way around. But progeria is that very, very sad disease where children age at a rapid rate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They don't grow skeletally, but their structures break down a little bit like when you give an athlete ciprofloxacin. Actually, it's not even hugely dissimilar. Right. Good. So, I have taught the passé simple today. No, as in all the literary tenses today, a record 4 times. I don't know why. You know, sometimes when you've got a job to do and you're just like, let's just get it out the fucking way. Ugh. And everybody's done reasonably well. I love them dearly. I really am fond of my Denise and my Brie, but they just weren't listening today. Normal French is so easy for them now. They're both doing fabulously well. I said they should come to this group, but this they didn't like today. They're both a bit whatever. So don't break Lukey's brain. We're going to do a little bit of this just to check you've got the stuff. Then we're going to do some normal French. And then next week, because I don't want to just go straight from one to the other, because it's just a bit of a mind break, I thought we'd talk about a couple of interesting things. Carrying on with our literary theme, I thought it might be nice to talk about the ne expletif and the ne littéraire. Does anybody off the top of their head know what the ne expletif is and what the ne littéraire are?
The ne expletif is the ne after avant que.
That's exactly right. The ne expletif is a ne without a pas after certain expressions or with certain verbs for certain functions. Okay. Often with the subjunctive. Exactly. The ne littéraire is just in certain literary situations. Some verbs just don't fucking use pas. Now, this is kind of interesting because, as you know, somebody has very much along the way up until now told you all to fuck off the ne. Yeah, haven't I? I've been like, oh, don't just focus on the fucking pas. But in some books, some verbs, you know, will use, you know, pouvoir is famously one of them. Oser. You know, won't use the ne. Oh, sorry, won't use the pas. And then also we've got this thing where we use point. So we use point instead of pas in classic books as well. You know, like il a point compris rather than il a pas compris. And so I just thought we'd just finish up books with a couple of booky things next week, all right? So we'll have a little play with that. But I thought we'd do some normal stuff first. I'm just going to check that functionally you guys are up and running and normal. So first things first, let's just do a quick passé simple check. So Nathan, you're in front of me, which means you go first. How would you say he sang in the passé simple? He sang.
Il chanta.
Good. Would you say for me they sang?
Ils chantèrent. No, ils chantèrent.
Is it you are a wanker, a wankar, or a wankier? What are you for not remembering this?
Ils chantèrent.
Thank
Wanker.
you. What's my system? Look at me. The slogan for the passé simple is vowels on the top. Yeah, vowels on the top. Mutterer. So that's fine if you've got u. Ur. Im, ir. If you're in the first category, the A family, parler, parla, parla, from the verb to have. Jam, hat, hair. Remember? Parlam, parlat, parler. All right? So give me one more time. They sang. Ils
chantèrent.
Great. Tom. The man abused the child. I'm just going with the sentence. Do you know what it is, Stuart? You just sometimes come up with words that just comes to you on a level. The man abused the child.
L'homme abusait l'enfant.
Lovely. All seriousness aside, if you are being touched in any fucking way, shape, or form and you want to talk to somebody about it, send it Tommy. Loves fan fiction. No. Contact, if you are underage particularly, fucking contact people, get help. Do not suffer that shit in silence. And if necessary, you fucking tell me and I will come along fucking with you and I will rescue your ass. Do not go through that stuff. YouTube community. Would you please say for me, they did something terrible. They did something terrible in a book.
Il fera quelque chose de terrible.
Who here has done this the most recently?
That's me.
Pause. The verb faire, look at Auntie Lukey. Is it an ER verb?
No.
So it's not in my A family. Is it a weird verb which ends in an U in the past participle?
No.
No. So it's not in the U family. Which family is it therefore in?
It's in the E family.
Lovely. What is your slogan for the passé simple? Val, mutterer. So if it's they did, what sound is it going to end with? And what is he did? Il
fit.
That's it. Let's role play. I'll be like Jack and the Giant, whatever. I'll be the Giant and you'll be Jack. That's the shit, isn't it? When people fucking love when people pretend to be huge and they pretend to be tiny. I mean, I'm all for kink, but what the fuck? How do you create that? So they did. Il
firent.
Thank you. They did something terrible. Ils firent quelque chose de terrible. Lovely. Lovely. Stuart. Tom died because of his errors. Tom died because of his errors.
Tom mourut à cause de son erreur.
Oh, but Stuart, that's beautiful French. Of course, Stuart, it's not going to be more than one error. It says error. But yes, lovely French. Congratulations. Lovely. He had a heart attack, or that's what Lukey made it look like. He had a heart attack, une crise cardiaque, un infarctus. So he had a heart attack. Il
eut
une crise cardiaque, un infarctus.
Infarctus.
Or a crise cardiaque, like a cardiac crisis. Yeah. Which is what I always tend to say. Good. Claire. Luke bought the chocolate. I really feel like chocolate. Shall I go and get us some chocolate? Luke bought the chocolate. Claire, Luke bought the chocolate.
Luc achète le chocolat, du chocolat.
What's the verb to speak, Claire?
Parler.
What he spoke? Il parle.
Il parle.
No, in the passé simple, il parle.
Oh, il parla.
Thank you. So what's he bought?
Il acheta. Acheta.
Bearing in mind, guys, that you are never going to need to get this in your muscle memory. I don't want you to. Even when you're reading it, I don't want you to read it out loud. That's the reason that we go into this other version, right? Claire, we bought the chocolate because there's nothing worse than guilt, is there? So if you're going to buy something shit, get other people to eat it as well. You watch bitches that car share after Slimming World. Those lying whores, they're all off to the fricking corner shop together. Oh, well done, Marjorie. Oh, you were marvellous, Michelle. You watch them head off. I don't know why I've put weight on this week. Oh, me neither. I watched you. I took my friend from Holland around the park. Not Holland Park, obviously, sadly. We went for a massive walk because his girlfriend was like, "You're too fat, sort it out." She was Asian, in case you didn't know. So, Stuart, you'll be familiar with the culture. She was just like, "Oi, lose weight, fat boy." And he was like, "Okay." She was totally beautiful girl from the Philippines. So he went on a massive walk with me for like 45 minutes. He said, no, an hour and 45. And he went, Luke, I'm just going to go to the shop. I just need some contact lens fluid. And I thought, I'm sure they don't sell that in the corner shop. In I go. He's got one Snickers in his mouth and another one in his hand. People lie, man. Lovely. So Claire, we bought the chocolate. We bought the chocolate in a book.
Nous achetâmes du chocolat.
Lovely. It's less common. Like, you know, the nous and the vous in a book. Books tend to be first person, you know, whatever. I found Tom and Nathan and I chained them up and the man buying their organs arrived. You know, like it tends to be like whatever. They cried out in pain. You know, it tends to be like Tom, he died first, whatever. Nathan was made of stronger stuff. He was from a boring state. I mean, it's just like, like, it's, it's like books tend to be 1, 3, and 6, but you know what I mean? Good. Lovely. Great. Lovely. So everybody's completed round 1. Take one step forward. Good. What, Stuart, is the tense that I would need orally if I was, or non-literarily, if I was reading the passé simple? What would that go to in the normal French? It would go to the
past perfect.
Yeah, the passé composé. Exactly. Don't even need this in your mind as words. If you just think or whatever you need, lovely. So mentally, you can often think of that as add an auxiliary. Lovely. Great. Let's go around again. Nathan, I was happy that Claire was there. I was happy that Claire was there in an archaic sort of book.
J'étais content que Claire était là.
Hang on, you've just got a little something on your... What is it going to create if in this kind of literature, I was happy, which is an emotion, yeah, that... So what would come after an emotion and a that then, Nathan, normally? The what?
The subjunctive.
Good. In a book, the first clause is in the past and a matching timeline also in the past is your subordinate clause. So what tense are we using if we've got something in the past in a book and then a matching timeline on the other side of the cur? Which literary tense is this?
The imperfect subjunctive?
It fucking well wants to be. Bear in mind, I've just kept saying imp. Otherwise, it'd be like the imp that lives in the magic fucking faraway tree. Lovely. So let's make that really, really clear. If you've got one tense in the past that invites the subjunctive, your clause, or bien que, whatever, anything, or c'était intéressant, whatever it is, and then you've got another bit which is in the same kind of timeline, that is going to be in perfect subjunctive, as opposed to it was interesting that Claire had done something. All right, that would be when it goes into a previous timeline for your subjunctive. That will be your pluperfect subjunctive. Yeah, and you can bring that into the modern French. I am happy that Claire is with me. Je suis content que Claire soit avec moi. I was happy that Claire was with me. J'étais content que Claire soit avec moi. It's not going to change in the modern language. We haven't got another version, have we? But it would only be I was happy that Claire had eaten, so we were free to go for a lovely walk in the autumn leaves. J'étais content que Claire ait mangé. So again, in the spoken normal language, if we've got this previous thing going on, now this previous timeline clause, then that's going to be the one with an auxiliary. So in other words, spoken, I keep saying spoken, normal French, same timeline, one subjunctive verb. In literary French, same kind of timeline, one subjunctive verb, imperfect subjunctive. Normal French, previous timeline in the second bit, or might not even be the second bit, it might be a different way around, but referring to the previous timeline is going to be pluperfect subjunctive. So us, fus, hat t in the middle. Sorry, in the book, and in the spoken language will be the a and the soi in the middle. So in other words, so if you could go again then, so I was happy that Claire was with me, which is the same timeline, Nathan.
J'étais content que Claire fût hâtie avec moi.
We're better, aren't we? Can we all remind ourselves the formation of the, or the formulation of the formation, sorry, of the verb that we're talking about? What's the slogan? Imperfect subjunctive. Yeah. Okay. Hâtie. Take your he, she, parla, fini, u, pu, whatever the bastard is in the passé simple. Take it and then rub on the s. Another way of thinking about this, guys, is your imperfect subjunctive always involves adding. So il parla, you're always going to be adding. Il parlas, even if it's just il parla, hâtie, or u, add, il eut, accents. You're always adding. Il eut, yeah, you're always adding from passé simple to imperfect subjunctive. Good, lovely. Nathan, do me another one. It was interesting that they had understood. Possibly a smidge ironic right now. It was interesting that they had understood.
C'était intéressant qu'ils eussent compris.
Good, because that one, it was interesting that they previously had understood. So we need the was subjunctive in the middle. If it were c'était intéressant qu'ils comprissent, then that would mean same timeline. It was interesting that they. No, right, good. Good. Nathan may sit down. Tom, I'm going to want to see both of your palms. I don't know if I want to see your palm. Okay. Tom's not actually walking around anywhere. He's just aggressively jerking off in the dark. It's just like, yeah. He's got a very, very square German neighbour who won't let him do it in the house. He has to go outside. He's just pretending he's hiking across the garden. Tom's like, if I wait outside long enough, my hand will be so cold it'll feel like someone else. Good. So Tom, so say for me, although Luke lived in London using vivre, yeah, okay. Although Luke lived in London, in this book, although Luke lived in London, he used to work in Paris all the time. Although Luke lived in London, he used to work in Paris. In the books.
Bien que Luc visse rentre, travaillait à Paris.
Stand still. To find the imperfect subjunctive, we go from which other thing? What do we use as our base?
The passé simple.
Of the he form. That was a nice bit of twang on the word sampler. Well done. Lovely. Okay. What is the passé simple of he lived? Il.
Il vit?
Stand still. I know that's what you want to say, but that's the verb to see in the passé simple. It's not an ER. This is our mental patterning. It's not an ER.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do we go next to check?
Oh,
we
vécu. There's a vécu.
Follow my room. Follow my route. You had one go.
You look for the irregular or
you
the
look
weird.
for an irregular.
There's a formation with an U.
That's right. And there's no irregular. And there is an irregular U.
There is an irregular U.
Yeah. Okay.
Vécu.
So the passé simple would be il vécu. So je vécu, tu vécu, il vécu, nous vécûmes, vous vécûtes, ils vécurent. Yeah, we all get this. Yeah. Okay. U. Now we need the imperfect subjunctive.
Bien qu'il vécusse.
Stand still. What is my turn? When you had your go, you've had your go. You listen so that other people on the YouTube can listen. Listen to Auntie Luki Educate. I don't give a shit about a correct answer. I want you guys to be brilliant beacons of intellectual capacity. I don't care about the right answer. If you've got it wrong, I don't want to fall into it. I want you to get it cleanly. Listen to the reasoning, all right? I do. I need brilliance off you. What is the fucking slogan for the imperfect subjunctive, Tom? It is imperfect
Subjunctive.
had to. Had
Had
to.
to.
So we've got vécu. Could you just do for me all 6 of the imperfect subjunctive? Je vécu.
J'ai vécu. Tu vécus. Il vécu. Hat-ti. Nous vécûmes.
Excuse me. Sometimes certain things should not be combined. Meghan Markle, Harry, don't bring race into this. I'd fucking love it if the boy married somebody who's purple black. I just don't want him marrying her. She's a wretch. Don't combine my passé sampler and my imperfect subjunctive. Yeah, your slogans are vowels, mutterer, and hat-ti. Why are you bringing mutterer into the s family? Passé sampler, vowels and mutterer, imperfect subjunctive, s, yeah, and hat-ti. Vowels and mutterer, s, hat-ti. Vowels and mutterer, s, hat-ti. Don't combine the 2. So go again. Vécus, vécus, carry on.
Vécus, vécus. Hat-ti.
No. Vécus, vécus, vécu, hat-ti.
Vécu. Hat-ti.
No. Look. Vécus, vécus, vécu, hat-ti. Yes, V-E-C-U, V-E-C, no syllable, U, accent T. Now carry on. Vécu, nous.
Nous vécussions.
Thank you. Vous.
Vous vécussiez. Il vécus.
Lovely. And we only need the he form there, right? So bien que Luc vécu.
Bien que Luc vécu hat-ti à Londres, il travaillait à Paris.
Good. Right. Claire, let's do the same sentence, but this time let's just use the verb habiter. So although, which creates the was, it creates the subjunctive, and we need the imperfect subjunctive. So bien que Luc, this time we're going to use the verb habiter. So what is going to be the imperfect subjunctive for a he, Claire, of habiter? Bien que Luc
habitus. No. Bien que il habita.
Il habita hat-ti. That's exactly right.
Habita.
So let's make sure we've got the steps down. Say for me, he lived in the passé simple. Il
habita.
That's right. Habiter, habita, habita, habitam, habitat, habiter. So habita, H-A-B-I-T-A, is my passé simple. Imperfect subjunctive involves adding s, apart from adding the hat-ti if it was a he. So bien qu'il habita, H-A-B-I-T-A-T, whatever. That's exactly right. Good. So really, to look at your imperfect subjunctive and your passive sample he, she, they look exactly the fucking same apart from the T and the accent. And half the time the T will be there anyway, as we've already discussed. Good. Claire. Luke was thrilled, ravi, that Claire had understood. Luke was thrilled that... Nathan, it looks like you're drinking from a Nutella jar. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking chamomile tea. It's a reusable cup. Sorry to distract.
That's all right. I mean, I like a cup of chamomile, but let's be honest, out of context, it does look like a fucking sample to be handed into the fucking urologist, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It does. I was thinking that boy needs to drink more water. It looks very dark. Lovely. So off you go. I don't know if I want you to be drinking something mildly mentally calming while you're in my crowd.
I needed to be calmed down.
Yes, but I don't know if I want you to be drinking something mentally calming. I need you to be speed. Good. So Claire, Luke was thrilled, ravi, that Claire had understood. So Luke was thrilled, that creates the subjunctive. Claire had understood. What is the name for the second half. What do I need here, Claire? What's
You
this
need
shit called
the-
when it's the subjunctive that goes behind? What's it called?
Oh,
The pluperfect subjunctive. Yeah. And
pluperfect.
all that's doing is to remind you is sticking the was subjunctive in the middle. Normal was Luc parlait. Luc had eaten. Luc avait mangé. We're just sticking was in the middle. Normal was subjunctive. Luc had Claire had understood was subjunctive in the middle. So this now means that we put the was subjunctive on the have and the be. All right. So say for me, Luc was thrilled. Luc
était ravi.
Lovely, nice accent. That Claire had imperfect subjunctive on the middle this time. Understood. Que Claire
Que Claire eut
Final answer.
eut compris.
Spell for me what you've said in the middle.
EU at T. EU at T.
Good. So you've got the right word, my darling, but we don't pronounce the T. Yep. So quick
Let's just
reminder,
do-
people, the verb to have is avoir, and it's in the eu family of the passé simple, because j'ai eu tells me that it's eu. So the passé simple goes eu, ut, ur, eus, eut, eu, but you've got your accent mes, eu, but you've got your accent ts, eurent. Therefore, your imperfect subjunctive hat t is going to take us, u hat t, so eu accent and the t, reminding you that normally a lot of them have the t anyway. It's just a way of saying it. Usion, usier, us. So Luc, so Luc was thrilled that Claire had understood. Luc était ravi que Claire eut hat t compris. Good. Stuart. When Tom entered the bedroom, the child cried. In a book, when Tom entered the bedroom, the child cried. With delight. No. When Tom entered the bedroom, the child cried. In a book. Stuart.
Quand Tom a entré.
Stand still.
It's a,
Say for me normally. I'm not going to give it you. You're going to do it. Say for me normally. Tom entered. Just normally. Tom entered.
entré.
Say for me. I entered. Je. I can't hear you. Say for me. I entered. Just. Good. So it's an adverb. Okay. Say for me, he entered. Normally, he entered. It's got that background noise, but you talk over it, it'll be okay. I can hear you. Just talk over it. He entered. Good. We can't stop with a bit of background noise. Lovely. Could you please say for me, he had entered. Normally, he had entered. Just normally, plain and simple, he had entered. And again. Great. Which tense do I need, Stuart? If it's when, I need my hand. When Tom had entered, something else happened. What is this tense called? The what?
The pluperfect.
No, not in a book.
Oh, in the book is the plus que parfait.
No. Anybody? What's this tense called?
It's a passé antérieur.
That's right, Stuart. So to remind you guys of this one, you need a first event signaled by a word like when, after, soon as something big announcing it. When Luke said that he loved somebody,
Froze.
to yeah. Can you remind me? What's this tense called?
Luke, you froze for a bit, so I'm not sure what the question was.
What is the tense called when you've got the first thing and then the second thing?
Passé composé? I'm not sure where you're at.
Stuart, listen to Auntie Lukey. In a book, when you've got the first thing, when Stuart did something, then Lynn did this. What is this system called? The passé what?
Passé antérieur.
Lovely. And what is it made up of?
I'm missing too much of what you're saying. What is it?
What's it made up of? What is it made up of? How do we formulate it?
Passé antérieur. Well,
I'm not hanging up, Stuart. So if you can't hear me, I'm not ending the call and starting again because it really messes the recording up. How is it formulated? How is this formulated? Okay, I can't hear you either. I'm really sorry. Nathan, can you say something?
Hi. I think it's created by the word like when or as soon as, and then the auxiliary in the passé simple.
That's exactly right. It's created by when, après que, so quand, après que, une fois que, aussitôt que, dès que, some big thing that says, look, here's number one, and then here's number two. It could go the other way around. It could be Stuart entered as soon as Luke had arrived. Let's go in, Stuart. We went to the movie theatre together. Right, this is the passé antérieur, and it's going to be passé simple in the middle. So quand Tom fut entré, yeah, quand Tom fut entré, lovely, lovely, lovely. L'enfant pleura. Okay, passé antérieur in the middle. Tom, do me one. After Luke left, Tom cried. After Luke left, Tom cried.
Après que Luc fut parti,
Good.
Tom criait.
We're in a book.
Tom a crié.
We're in a book.
Tom eut crié.
If this one is in the passé antérieur, what's the next one going to be in? A normal action event in the book. A normal action event in the book. Tom.
If it'll be in the passé antérieur.
No, it won't.
Passé simple,
No, it won't.
No?
Thank you. What would be Tom cried in the passé simple?
Oh, Tom cria.
Thank you, but that'll be to cry out.
Sorry.
That'll be to cry out. Which is a hint ejaculatory for my liking. So could you just cry that way? So Tom
pleura.
Thank you. Good. I will leave it there. I've given you all of the ones that we need to go over. I'm not going to go over the conditional past two. They're the ones to remind you. So if it's a normal event in the past, passé simple, val, mutterer. Yeah, jam hat hair or whatever it is, whatever. If it's imperfect subjunctive, it's going to go over s and hat t. If it's got the passé simple in the middle, it's going to be the passé antérieur. And if it's got the imperfect subjunctive in the middle, then that is the pluperfect subjunctive, which needs us and thus in the middle. So don't get out of habit of playing with these for a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more. Good. Let's do some normal French. Claire, Luke, it's terrible. You've already told us. We should be able to remember it. Luke, it's terrible. You've already told us. We should be able to remember it. Normal French nature.
Luc, c'est terrible.
You've already told us.
Tu as déjà nous dit.
Put that into the correct word order.
What was it again? Sorry.
You've already told us.
Tu as déjà nous dire. Oh.
I'm not very happy, and you've obviously upset Stuart. Would you please say for me, you've told? 1, 2, 3. Come on. You've told. Go. Thank you. You've told us. Now give me you've told us.
Tu nous as dit.
Now you've already told us.
Tu nous as déjà dit.
That's a bit fucking better, isn't it? Lovely. Okay. We should be able to remember it. Using on.
On doit pouvoir...
We should. Don't make me come after you. We should. Not we have to. We should. On
devrait.
Thank you. Tom was happy it wasn't him. Be able to.
Pouvoir.
Good. Remember it.
Souvenir.
On devrait pouvoir s'en souvenir.
S'en souvenir.
That's it? Good. Nathan, if you'd asked me the same question, Luke, I wouldn't have gotten it wrong. I don't know if I believe you. If you'd asked me the same question, I wouldn't have gotten it wrong.
Si tu m'avais demandé la même question.
No. Si tu m'avais posé. If you're using the word question, use poser. Otherwise, use demander for quelque chose. Okay, yeah.
Si tu m'avais posé la même question, j'aurais pas dit la mauvaise chose.
What's the verb to make a mistake?
Se tromper.
Lovely. I wouldn't have made a mistake.
Je me serais pas trompé.
Good. Put the two together at speed.
Si tu m'avais posé la même question, je me serais pas trompé.
Keep going until it sounds human.
Si tu m'avais posé la même question,
No, there's a lot of time buying here. There's a lot of time buying.
Si tu m'avais...
There's a lot of time buying.
Si
Work
tu m'avais...
fast. Put two clauses together. Go.
Si tu m'avais posé la même question, je me serais pas trompé.
Not sounding human, is it? Put the ideas together faster. This is showing what's being mentally linked. Go.
Si tu m'avais posé la même question...
There's time buying. Don't time buy.
Si tu m'avais posé la même question, je me serais pas trompé.
That's it. That's a muscle memory that's appropriate. Si tu m'avais posé la même question, je me serais pas trompé. That is proper thing. Good. Stuart. It's fascinating that we all try to slow down the sentence. It's fascinating that we all try to slow down the sentence. Stuart. I can't hear you, Stuart. I can't hear you. Your microphone's off. It's still got the red line through it. That's it.
C'est fascinant.
That we all try to, yeah. Stuart, I'm really sorry, but I can't hear you again. I don't know what it is with the interface, but your Skype and my Skype don't seem to like each other today. Could you come right close to the microphone, my darling? I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. It's interesting that we try. It's interesting that we try to slow the sentence down.
C'est fascinant qu'on essayait de ralentir le phrase.
Good, almost. C'est fascinant que is going to invite what?
Well,
And what is we try going to be if it's subjunctive?
qu'on essaye.
That will get you out of it, won't it? That will solve it. What would it be if it was nous? C'est fascinant que nous essayons. Subjunctive?
Essayons.
That's it. C'est fascinant que nous essayions. Sounds a bit heavy, but yes, c'est fascinant qu'on essaie. That we all try. Qu'on essaie tous. Yeah? Qu'on essaie tous de ralentir la phrase. Yeah? All right. Notice that the tous would go where it goes. C'est fascinant qu'on essaie tous de ralentir la phrase. Yeah? Good. Essayer de, essayions, or essaye with the subjunctive in the short form. Good. Ralentir, well done, good vocabulary. Tom. The authorities haven't been able to find where I bury the bodies. The authorities haven't been able to find where I bury the bodies.
L'autorité.
That's a little bit 1984. The authority. The authorities, plural.
Les autorités
Haven't been able to find.
n'avaient pu trouver.
Pause. Have not.
N'a pu.
Where's the next?
Where's the, sorry?
Where's the negative?
N'a pas pu
Thank you.
trouver où j'ai caché les cadavres.
Good. But bury, enterré.
Enterré.
Yeah. Les autorités is plural. So instead of n'a pas pu, what's it going to be for plural? Les autorités
Les autorités n'ont pas trouvé.
Look at me. You are not a basic intellect. The fact that pouvoir starts with a P and pas starts with a P should no longer be causing your math trouble, but it is. Why? 2 words begin with a P. Get over it. 2 words begin with a P. Yeah? A perfect penis, P and P. Okay? Yeah, okay. You know, a copious cunt. There are words. Okay? A fabulous fuck. We have alliteration. Get the fuck over it. Stick your pat in and use your verb. Off you go.
Les autorités n'ont pas pu trouver où j'ai enterré les cadavres.
Better. All right? People always fuck. I picked a pickled pepper porcupine. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, good. All right? Good. Deal with it. There's lots of words with poo and pa. All right. Good. Claire. I can hear the cops. Nathan, eyes down. Tom, eyes down. Claire, I emptied all the objects from my big green bowl and sorted them all out. Lots of receipts, lots of things, lots of whatever. I emptied all the objects from my big green bowl.
J'ai vidé tous les objets de mon grand bol vert.
Only one error, Claire. The rest was beautiful. TOUS, when it is in that part of the sentence, is just pronounced tout. Tous les garçons. When it is referring to, like, we are all going, on va tous partir, it will be tous. Yeah? If it's before the article, all the, tous les, Yeah, tous les. All right.
Two.
If it's adding a plurality to your we are all going, nous allons tous manger. You know, he spoke to all of us. Il a parlé à nous tous. Yeah, okay, il nous a tous parlé. You know, it will be the tous. Okay, good, lovely, Claire. The rest was correct. Nathan, the chamomile tea that you told me about is starting to make you sleep. The chamomile tea, if that's good to know. I mean, I was going to bring all kinds of illicit drugs to come dope you up with. If I knew all it took was a freaking chamomile, I'd be no problem. So say for me, the chamomile tea I spoke to you about is starting to send me to sleep.
Le thé à la chamille dont je t'ai parlé.
Keep going.
Commence à m'endormir.
Is it going to sleep? Or is it making you go to sleep?
Commence à me faire dormir.
No.
Commence à me faire endormir.
You can say ça commence à m'endormir. It's sending, you know, it's making me, it's sending me to sleep. Yeah. You can endormir somebody else. Hang on 1 second. Somebody just messaged me something. My friend Drew. You can endormir somebody else. Yeah. Ça m'endort. Yeah. Rather than ça me fait endormir. Ça me fait m'endormir. Ça m'endort. It can send you to sleep. Tom, my friend sent me a message. He lives in Greece. My friend sent me a message. He lives in Greece.
Mon ami m'a envoyé un message. Il habite Grec.
He lives in Greece.
Il habite en Grèce.
Il habite en Grèce. Right.
En
Okay.
Grèce.
Okay. Grec is Greek. Right. Lovely. The situation is a little bit difficult because he dumped one of my friends when she got sick. She got motor neurone. And then it turned out that she had the form that, like Stephen Hawking, where she's basically here 20 years later, paralyzed, but she's here. And I don't think he quite realized he was in for the long haul, if I'm honest. And it's not for me to judge, but I think that's why he had enough and did a runner. So it is what it is. But yeah. So do you completely never speak to the guy again and say you're a cunt and we don't speak to you? Or do you sort of keep an eye and go, well, we've known you for several years in a friendship, we don't need to burn? It's a bit of a hard one. So he messages me, but it's like, you know, I don't want to be like, yay, let's go out and party. But a bit of me is like, I don't want to be like, I'm ignoring every message you send. But it is very sad and unfortunate. I don't know, because I always think, what would I do? And although people think I'm an absolute vicious cunt, I am really loyal like that. I can't stand treachery. Gabby, you know who you are. I can't stand it. Like if you've done something for somebody and you've looked after somebody and then they just drop you because you're sick. So it's like, I don't know. I just think that's a bit shitty. So I'm a bit uncomfortable. So say for me, the situation is a little bit difficult because he dumped a friend of mine when she got sick.
La situation est un peu difficile parce qu'il a quitté...
Difficile is not French. Give me the vowels.
La situation est un peu
No,
difficile.
La situation. Be French. French vowels, not la situation. When things get more comfortable and more fluent, it doesn't mean that the vowels have to go back to English. La situation est un peu difficile. Be French with the vowels. Not difficile. Not difficile. Difficile, carry on.
La situation est un peu difficile parce qu'il a quitté un ami de moi quand elle est devenue malade.
What's the verb to become? Quand elle est
devenue malade.
Malade? Is it malade?
Malade.
Thank you. Can you hear the difference? La situation est un peu difficile parce qu'elle a largué, elle a quitté une de mes amies quand elle est devenue malade ou quand elle est tombée malade. All right? If I was saying that normally, even at my normal speed, listen to how the vowels are present. Lui, alors la situation est un peu difficile parce qu'il a quitté une de mes amies quand elle est devenue malade, quand elle est tombée malade. The vowels are still there, all right? Good.
Sorry, guys, I've got to get on a train, but I'll watch from here and see you next week.
He's got to get on. We've been watching him get off for the past 20 minutes. Take care.
Bye.
Good. I wouldn't mind, but I sent him some very dodgy images earlier, which should have tided him over. Lovely. Claire. Luke, I agree with you. It's not the easiest situation. Luke, I agree with you. It's not the easiest situation.
Luc, je suis d'accord avec toi. Ce n'est pas la situation plus facile.
Almost. Well done. The easiest. Okay, right. Remember this. What's the word for more in French? Plus.
Plus.
What's the word for most in French? Le plus or la plus. You need the. That's the only difference. Claire is, I was going to say the most ready out of the group. Whatever. I mean, by definition, that's correct. Okay. Claire is intelligent. Claire est intelligente. Claire est intelligente. Claire is lovely. Claire est adorable. Okay. Claire is the loveliest out of the group. You know, Claire, elle est la plus adorable. It's got to have the in there. Yeah. All right. Okay. Save me expensive.
Cher.
Nice accent. More expensive.
Plus cher.
The most expensive.
Le plus cher.
Good. All right. It's got to have the. So when you then have a noun, the most expensive. Okay. Stuart's wearing his most interesting shirt or something. You know, Stuart, il porte sa chemise la plus élégante, la plus intéressante, whatever. It needs the to it. The is what turns the comparative, the equative, the superlative, all of that stuff. You need the. All right. Good. Lovely, Stuart. Luke. I'm happy that you like my shirt using plaire. I'm happy that you like my shirt using plaire.
Luc, je suis content. Luc, je suis content que ma chemise tu as
present tense. I'm happy you like my shirt first. We'll do the other one in a bit, but I'm happy you like my shirt first.
Luc, je suis content que tu que ma chemise tu es plus. To play.
What is going to come after je suis content que?
Le subjunctive.
What is the subjunctive of a soft verb like play?
Plaise.
That's it. That's it. Je suis content que ça te plaise versus je suis content que ça t'ait plu. Could you just get them both in the mouth? Could you just say for me, je suis content que ma chemise te plaise. Je suis content que ma chemise te plaise.
Content que ma chemise te plaise.
Te plaise, t'y. And now could you say, je suis content que ma chemise t'ait plu?
Je suis content que ma chemise t'ait plu.
You got the difference, people? All right. Nathan.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Could you change that around and say, it pleases me that you like my shirt? Would that get rid of the subjunctive?
And that would invite the subjunctive as well, Claire?
It would.
Fucking clever. Why don't you try saying it?
Ça me plaît que tu aimes ma chemise.
Good. And you wouldn't hear the difference with the subjunctive of the tu aimes, would you? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't say ça me plaît que ma chemise te plaise. I mean, that's a bit of a double up. but it would be the subjunctive. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly right, Claire. Well done. Nathan, and we'd say that all the time. Oh, I mean, I distinctly remember staying with somebody in France, like before there was Airbnb. It was just, I needed lodgings on a dance job, and I just stayed with this woman whose family ran like a caterer's, and I just bought her a rose, like, as in, I paid her, but like, oh, thank you so much for everything. And she's like, oh, ça m'a beaucoup plu. Le fait que, you know, rather than you doing this please me, it's like, oh, ça m'a beaucoup plu. Le fait que tu m'aies acheté, whatever. Cette rose, yeah. Good. Lovely. She's probably dead now. I mean, I left them all barely breathing when I left. You know, few bodies. Sometimes I like to not know. Just nice to just slit the throat and just leave it a little bit, you know, just be like, will fate take over? Will the emergency, you know, the services find them? It's nice to, you know, just be vague, bit interesting, make life interesting. Good. Whatever. But I put the rose on her chest as she closed her eyes for the last time. I was respectful. Good. Nathan. It pleased Luke. Passé simple.
Ça plut Luc.
Plu was well handled. The next bit wasn't. Ça plu. Say for me that pleases me. Ça.
Ça me plaît.
Say for me that pleases you.
Ça te plaît.
Nice accent. That pleases him.
Ça lui plaît.
Lovely. So what's really one of my main methodologies is to get your muscle memory then reminding you grammar. I don't want you carrying around the burden of my excellence of knowing individually to teach which verbs are which and which verbs are which, because a fucking normal French speaker would know that. That's my job to go, right, let me think of some other verbs that do this. A standard French speaker wouldn't go, I know a similar verb would be this. It's just not how you think about language. Okay, it's my job to be like, oh, hey, and another verb that does that would be this. But do you now acknowledge that if you're saying ça lui plaît, so how are you going to say that with Luke?
Ça Luc plut in the passé simple.
Now, if it's lui plaît, is it direct or indirect?
Oh, indirect.
So how are we going to do that with Luke?
Ça plaît à Luc.
Thank you. Now put it in the passé simple.
Ça plut à Luc.
Lovely. Now, interestingly, I would have been interested to know if you'd have fucked that up in a tense that we say. And I kind of like the idea that you wouldn't have done, because I think a lot of it would be in muscle memory. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? You haven't gotten, as I was saying to Stuart earlier, I don't want you to have muscle memory of literary tenses. I don't want it. Okay? I don't need you to have muscle memory tenses. Yeah, all right, good. Lovely. Don't get me wrong. I was saying this to Susie and Paul earlier. It's badass as foreigners if you can all go. Ça me plaît, ça me plaisait, ça me plaira, ça me plairait. Il est intéressant que ça me plaise avant de me plaire. Ça me plut hat tea. It's not very interesting on the third person singular. Ça m'a plu, ça m'avait plu, ça m'aura plu, ça m'aurait plu. Il est intéressant que ça m'ait plu après m'avoir plu. Ça m'eût plu, ça m'eût hat tea plu. It's much more interesting with the two. Yeah, you know, like il prend, il prenait, il prendra, il prendrait. Il est intéressant qu'il prenne avant de prendre. Il prit, il prise. Il a pris, il avait pris, il aura pris, il aurait pris. Il est intéressant qu'il ait pris après l'avoir pris. Il eut pris, il eusse pris. It's nice if you can go right. Present was, will, would, subjunctive, infinitive. Passé simple, imperfect subjunctive. Then the same on the auxiliary. That's a tour de force, but I don't need you to do it. I really, really don't. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of French people don't. I really do. I specifically remember the example. I had a baby on my chest. I was looking after Rebecca. I think he's now 19, 20. You have to remember. No, God, I'm 45. And how old was I then? 18? Fucking hell. Good God. So she's got to be what? 2 plus 25, 27? Good God. Anyway, and I remember being bare-chested with this baby. I can remember it specifically because she kept trying to suck my chest, and I was just like, no, not a lot of milk there. So I was watching some quiz show, and I remember somebody saying, which of these is not a literary tense of the verb coudre? Because coudre in the past tense is cousu, so I can see why people would think it was like cousu, cousume, cousu, but it's cousi in the imperfects of in the passive simple, because it works like the middle group. It works like a regular, irregular, if that makes sense. So therefore you have cousis and all this stuff, and it was all cousus and all of this stuff. And I remember sitting there, and French people like went, phone a friend, ask the audience, all this kind of stuff. So what you're perfecting is not always 100% totally known across the French-speaking world. Do you know what I mean? Good. Let's go around one more time. Good. Claire, I was bare-chested on the sofa. I was bare-chested on the sofa.
J'étais nue.
That's I was entirely naked. My schlang was hidden. Torse nu. Torse nu.
Torse nu?
The torse. Barefoot.
Oh, torse nu.
Torse. T-O-R-S-E. Barefoot, pieds nus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Barefoot, pieds nus. Whatever. Bare chest, torse nu. C'était torse nu. Yeah.
J'étais torse nu sur la canapé.
Good. I was holding the baby.
Je tiens.
Lovely verb tense, nice twang. Was holding. That's it.
Je tenais le baby.
Good. That's it. All right. Stuart, as an action, it wasn't, but let's pretend it was. I held the baby in a book.
Je tenu la baby.
Pause. I can see your logic because you are hearing tenu and you're thinking ooh family, but is it a regular, or is it a regular, is it a weird ooh? No, it's a classic ooh. It's logical that it goes there. So one should then be thinking it's the E group, but it's not even tenu. What is it? What is the irregular grouping? What's come in the passé simple? Il.
Vie.
You all, I've had that verb today in place of vivre, and I've had it in place of venir. What is the verb to come in the past tense? Vin. Remember? Yeah. So vin, V-I-N-S, V-I-N-S, V-I-N-T, vanme, V-I-N-M-E-S, vante, V-I-N-R-E-N-T, V-I-N-T-E-S, V-I-N-R-E-N-T. So what would the same be with tenir? Tin. Nice twang. Yeah, nice twang. Okay. Are we clear on that, people? Come is vin, V-I-N-S, V-I-N-S, V-I-N-T. Vanme, vante, vanre. Therefore, Stuart, what would be the conjugation of the imperfect subjunctive at T?
Vanessa.
Stand still.
E.
Do you want another go before I say?
Vanice.
Stand still. Ce is an add-on, not an ending. So vin is your he form. Yes. Vins. That's right. You guys always think it's as, is, us. It's ce, which predominantly will come on the end of an a or an E or an U, but it's ce that's going on. Do you understand that as well, Nathan? Yeah. So if it's vin, it's going to be vin, vin, vinme, vingt, vinre. Hence, vingt, vingt, vin, hat t, vincion, vincier, vince. That's common because people are going to regret saying this. I wanted her to come. Like that is kind of like common, you know. Make her come first. Be a gentleman. More than once. So je voulais qu'elle vint hat tea. All right. Good. Lovely. Nathan, how's your chamomile?
Wonderful. Spicy.
Good. It looks a bit rohypnol-y. You look a bit like. All right. Good. Any questions so far? Okay, on what we've done. Any areas? Just give me some feedback. Give me feedback individually, just one by one. I'd like to have asked Tom this, although he only did it on Sunday. So that's a really good video, by the way. I literally did the whole shit with Tom on Sunday because I felt he'd like missed stuff. So far, what are the collisions that are happening? What are the problems that are happening? What are the lacks of comprehension? Like, you know, the lack of comprehension. Like, start with you, Claire. Like, what on the literary stuff is the bit that you keep going, oh fuck, I keep doing that, or that I don't get, or that I don't get. Like, just tell me about it a bit.
I feel like I've got my head around the passé simple, but
Good.
the others I'm struggling with.
Do you mean the creation of them? Do you mean the creation of them, or where you use them?
The creation, yeah. I think if I was reading something,
oh yeah. And we will
create them, yeah. But I mean, for me,
I'm never get the same result.
I'm never going to write in French.
Dude,
Literally,
I'm not. I'm not going to go and write a book.
I mean, it is giving me a bit of a brain freeze.
If I teach it from the visual, it's literally, it takes seconds, but people can never create it. And I just think it's neat to be able to create it. So basically, to remind you of when we use them all, passé simple is your standard action. Imperfect subjunctive is when you've got the subjunctive clause in the same timeline in the past, and we know when we get that, it's when we have the he, she, it form of the passé simple, and this is this S business, isn't it? Like, so say we had pu, puce, pu hati, pusion, pusier, puce. Yeah, that's when we'd use it. So that's how we'd create it. This S and this hat T business. The other one is passé simple in the middle, which is when there's the first one. The other one is when there's imperfect subjunctive in the middle, which is when it's the subjunctive back clause. So we'll do it with some reading next week. Again, I just wanted to give you some normal French, because otherwise people just gets a bit static otherwise. Nathan, thoughts and comments?
I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, I was confused earlier about keeping the timeline straight in my head when we were doing the exercises, but I think now I have the hang of it.
All right, so yeah, so don't translate for me, but just tell me the timeline. Tell me the tenses I would need for this. I'm happy that Nathan is here. Tell me the first clause tense, tell me the second clause.
So I am happy that Nathan is here. That would be present tense and present subjunctive.
That's right. I am happy that Nathan was there. Already. I am happy that Nathan was there.
Present tense and past subjunctive. No?
How many words in was? Okay. So although it was Nathan was there, I get the point. You could either go j'étais content que Nathan ait été là, or j'étais content que Nathan soit là. The point is, if you're looking back at it in the one go, that then becomes a complete action, which is then behind you. But what I'm saying is, just because it's in the was, one is still complete. If you go to somebody, I don't want to knock her, but you never hear a voice. It's just all reams and reams of writing. But if you go to Lawless, Laura Lawless, and she's the sort that would write a big page and all of this stuff, and it'd be largely correct. It's not always totally correct. She says things like, you don't use the passé composé. Nah, you do. But if you read a thing, she'd be the sort that would say, this is this, and then this is this, and this is this, and then this is this. Yeah, and the passé, the equivalent of the imperfect subjunctive would be the past subjunctive, and the equivalent orally of the normal subjunctive of the imperfect subjunctive in a book would be the normal subjunctive. What about in the book? Stuart was thrilled that Lynn had arrived. What would that be? Stuart was thrilled that Lynn had arrived.
So that would be Stuart was thrilled, passé simple. Lynn had arrived. The passé simple on the the imperfect subjunctive on the auxiliary.
Pardon me interrupting. I've just found something gorgeous. 1 second. This is nice.
Sorry, guys, I have to go.
All right, Claire, you go, my love.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
See what I've
Bye.
just...
Bye.
That's all right, my darling. Well done. Can you see what I've just put in the group, Nathan?
Let me grab my phone real quick.
No, you're going to grab your phone really quickly.
Okay, yes, I got it.
Did you catch my cunty little comment there?
Yeah.
So, passé simple, simple past. What's the non-literary equivalent? Passé composé, yeah? Past anterior. I mean, let's be frank, we could have called that passé antérieur. It wouldn't have been a massive stretch. You know, compound. I don't like that middle word. Fuck that off. Non-literary equivalents. Past perfect, which is basically the pluperfect, the had. Yeah, the had. Yeah, okay. Do you get what? I'm not being at all condescending. Do you get what past perfect means in English?
Yeah.
So the present perfect, Stuart has written, because it's the present tense and then the perfect. So Stuart has written. Okay. The past perfect, Stuart had written. Yeah, the pluperfect. Okay. Good. The imperfect subjunctive, what's the non-literary equivalent? Normal subjunctive. Yeah, look at the purple. The normal subjunctive. The pluperfect subjunctive goes to the past subjunctive. Yeah, okay. The conditional perfect second form, just the conditional perfect. Good. Lovely. I shall keep going. Stuart, comments, observations, feelings, feedback on the journey so far. And it is. We've only just, in the words of Karen Carpenter, we've only just begun. Off you go.
I guess what it gives me the most trouble is that I feel I had just gotten control of things like j'ai eu and that sort of j'avais eu, and that the auxiliaries, when they move between the present and past in the subjunctive, the sound doesn't it doesn't feel.
It doesn't seem as familiar. No, that's a very good observation. We almost kind of don't want it to.
Kind of thing, and yeah, I just can't imagine.
Why do you think, as well? Not being funny, you've got a pretty good indication of French, and you've been saying lots of things for a long time now, and it's your language as well. You know, it is your language. You're entitled to say it's one of your languages. You don't own it less than I do. You know, it's not less your language any less than someone who lives in Paris. You know, language isn't owned. You haven't got a muscle memory on these words for one. I don't want you to for two, but they are harder to say. It's one of the reasons why they faded out into this kind of, if you go on Reddit and people go, why don't we use the literary tenses in oral French anymore? That's one of the theories, that they are quite heavy. So let's just quickly, to finish, look at any versions of these with an auxiliary. Let's look at the bottom line. So say you said, normally he has eaten. What would be he has eaten? Normally he has eaten.
Il avait mangé.
He has eaten. Normal he has eaten.
Il a mangé.
That's right. Normally he had eaten. What's he had eaten?
Il avait mangé.
That's right. There are maybe a couple of times when you would go to say he ate and you would translate it into he had eaten. I'm always telling Americans that if it's a first event before another event, to think of it in the pluperfect, like when he arrived, Stuart opened the wine. When he had arrived, we tend to say in French, but that's basically it. Yeah. We've got aura mangé, aurait mangé, fine. So let's look at when we say the subjunctive past. So this is in the normal spoken language for when the thing you are referring to comes before as a completed action, your thing. So Stuart is happy that Lynn understood whatever the game. Stuart est content que Lynn ait compris le jeu. Stuart was happy that Lynn had understood the game. Even that still already in French would be Stuart était content que Lynn ait compris le jeu. Now you guys might go, okay, Luke, so you've told us if it's going on before, you should be using a in the normal language and us, u in the spoken language. So that gets confusing because it's like, oh, Stuart is, let's say Stuart is happy now that Lynn, understood the game. The understanding of the game took place beforehand. But if it was in a book, Stuart was happy that Lynn understood the game. Already, if you went to translate that, it depends how you interpret understood. So if it's like Stuart was happy that at that time, Lynn understood the game at the same time zone. They're both playing. So Stuart was happy that Lynn understood. Stuart était content que Lynn compris hat-t. If it's, oh, Stuart was happy and understood his instructions. That sounds terrible, but you know what I'm saying. We tend to commonly say that in English, and what we mean is Stuart was happy that Lynn had previously understood the instructions, and that's where you get eu, hat-t, compris in all of this business. Good. We'll just do some more literature next time, and then, but really, already all I care about, it's just a matter of interest and a matter of pride for you guys to be able to say you can do it. All I care about is that you can do that table, that whatever I show you, you can stick it in. Pardon the expression. So I will just be typing up next time. I'll just literally type up sentences, and they're only going to be in one of the literary tenses. It's not like you have to guess or work it out. They will be written in one of those tenses. It's not like interpretatively. So we're interpreting it to kind of like translate it, but to interpret it, to send it back, there's no interpretation involved. You'll read it, it'll be in that tense, and you just stick it in the necessary tense, and it'll be going into tenses that you're much more familiar with. This has just been me trying to push it as far as I can push it in terms of the creation, because I never quite feel people quite take off otherwise. But next week it'll just be, it won't be Stuart's job to work out which of the subjunctives it needs in the book, whether it's present tense or whether it's a one word or two word subjunctive, whether it's pluperfect or imperfect. He'll just read the pluperfect and go, okay, yeah, fine, so that goes to the past subjunctive. Bien que Luc fût parti. Oh, fine, so bien que Luc soit parti. That's all that needs to be already, okay? Or whatever the expression will be. Bien que Luc fût parti, no other word. Présent. Oh, bien que Luc soit présent, already. So you won't even need to care or worry it. It's interesting and it's ambitious and it's impressive that you're trying to solve it. You just won't have to. You just literally won't have to. You just have to go from what they all are. I'll end it by saying the same thing. Passé simple, into passé composé, imperfect subjunctive into present subjunctive, passé intérieur, the con, the une fois que, into normal pluperfect. That's a grab sometimes. That's a grab. Sometimes you people want to go into like normal passé composé, or even, I don't know. But to remember to go to the had. And finally, the pluperfect subjunctive, the subjunctive with an auxiliary, goes into the other subjunctive with an auxiliary. No, that's fine. And then if we were hypothetically doing the second form of the conditional, it would go into the normal conditional past. You know, that's fine. Good. I will literally be writing stuff next week. I'll just type it rather than trying to find examples. Whatever it is, and you guys go into it. And then we'll do a little bit more normal chat next week, and then possibly the week after that we'll start the ne littéraire and the ne expletive, because that's a bit fuckety. I don't want you to like be like, oh god, grammar. Good. Nathan, are you all right? How's life in France?
Life is great, except for my roommate has COVID, so I'm keeping away.
I mean, do you have a hammer and nails? Can you nail up the door?
I wish.
So no, how do you know he's got COVID? Did he have to be routinely tested, or was it just because he felt unwell and he was responsible?
Yeah, he just didn't feel well and took a test. So.
I mean, it doesn't massively alter one's care plan, does it? Apart from not going out and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Good. What does your roommate do for work?
Same as me, actually, but at the primary schools.
Yeah, so it's responsible that he's not going in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Stuart, are people getting like jabs and stuff for this winter, like with the flu jab? Is there another COVID jab going around, like in your neck of the woods?
Jabs
meaning vaccinations.
Vaccination. I got mine before I went to California to be with the kids again. I've only had COVID once, which is once,
too many.
It wasn't bad, but I did get. I think I got RSV, and that really lasted. That I still bear scars on my throat from the RSV because of the persistent coughing. So it's but I know vaccine, so
yeah. I know over here, and they're not sure it's whether we've evolved because of COVID on immunity level, or whether the viruses have evolved. But they're saying that now, you know, they talk about long COVID. They're saying that there's this thing now called long cold, where if you get a cold, that you can often feel crappy for about 4 weeks. And people are starting to panic and thinking they've got some like damn Epstein-Barr style thing. And it's like, no, but apparently if you get a cold, you still feel cruddy for about 4 weeks now, like rather than just like over in a week or something.
Yeah, but people did get, because we were in isolation, some of us, so long that, and so many people that cold forms had a chance to evolve. And
yeah, I know. And that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that is worrying / interesting.
Hopefully, we'll be back to normal soon. I think we have to go through this cycle of everyone getting, rotten nose infections and lung infections, etc. And
yes. We were really worried about Tom getting it because, like I said, when I first met Tom and he was 18 months old, he didn't have a functioning immune system. Yeah, and he got COVID, unfortunately, from the French trip to Besançon, because there was somebody there, sadly, who got COVID and wasn't super attentive, I shall say, with all due respect. I'd asked them to be, but they kind of weren't. Bless them. But in all fairness, they wouldn't have on purpose in a million years given that. And if I'm honest, they probably gave it him before they knew they had it, but just after knowing they had it, they weren't super attentive, but never mind. And he was like, Maman, je vais mourir. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. And it literally went through him, and he felt a bit unwell for a couple of days, but then he was fine. I had another friend of mine who's on massive immunosuppressants because she's had a kidney transplant. Okay, elle s'est fait greffer le rein, and it's like and she went for a blood test because of her, checking her levels. And she rang me up and she says, I've got COVID. And she at the time thought, that's it, I'm dead. This is like right at the beginning of all of this. So I rang the reception for her, and I'm down as one of her designated people, and because she's vulnerable, and they went, no, she had the COVID antibodies, like as in it was just to say that she'd had it, and it had just gone right through her, no problems. And she's not immunocompromised, she's deliberately immunosuppressed. And it was almost like, and then I was really interested because I have, by definition, been autoimmune. I was like, this is a bit interesting. How is this going to work out? And there's some people who were like, yeah, being autoimmune is in some ways more worrying because apparently there's some statistical likelihood that the cytokine storm that people get really sick from was weirdly what was killing a lot of people, was apparently stronger and more likely in people that weren't super fragile. So it's like people were fucked if they had super fragile underlying health conditions and immune problems, but equally there were a lot of people that weirdly, surprisingly, were getting cytokine storm terrible reactions from being really strong and healthy, and including a lot of, apparently to the data, autoimmune people. So I was like, oh god. So we'll have to see what comes of it. But my mom won't have another vaccination now. She's absolutely adamant. She's like, no, I'm done with vaccinations. She says even if her liberty was taken away again and they were like, no, you can't come in unless you've got proof of vaccination, she said she wouldn't have another one. But then she went and got the shingles jab this week because that's, she just, a friend who had shingles, and that was really difficult. So it is all interesting. But the whole thing's really, I'll be honest, the whole thing for me is really triggering because people go, I even heard someone on the tube the other day, alors j'ai entendu quelqu'un qui parlait effectivement au métro, and they were like, oh, I don't understand the problem. COVID for me was like a right laugh. Alors la COVID pour moi, effectivement, alors c'était bien amusant. And I was like, COVID is when I had 2 grandmas died and the ciprofloxacin situation happened to me. Alors effectivement, c'est quand j'ai perdu 2 grand-mères étaient décédées et sont décédées, et voilà, j'ai eu cette situation qui m'est arrivée avec ce médicament de merde. So I find the whole COVID, I mean, I'm talking about it with you now because we're talking about it, but if I haven't heard the word in a while and suddenly I hear the word, it makes me jump, like legit. Ça me fait sauter because literally my life before and after COVID is so different. Do you know what I mean? So fuck me. Good. Well done, people. Well done. You will honestly find going from it into the normal tenses so much easier. And you'll be like, Luke, why don't we just do this? We're never going to write in it. It's just cool to be able to say you can do it, isn't it? It's just cool. It is cool.
No, me and Stuart are going to write classical French poetry by the end of the year. So
can't you just send each other dick pics like normal people? Like, really, seriously. I mean, this method of courtship that you go in for, Nathan, is so highbrow. Really, do you know what I mean? Really, seriously, just send your friends naked pics like the rest of us. Good. All right. Take care. Well done. Loads of love. If you've enjoyed these videos and you're not in the group, can I remind you that there will be a link underneath. You can make a coffee contribution, and it's very highly appreciated. Lovely. All right, guys. Loads of love. See you next week.
See you. Look forward.